Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and open up a new drawing. So we can either come up here and say new design, or we can just click on a tab and open a new tab up. Once we've opened that, we're going to start by drawing a profile. I'm going to save my drawing before I do anything at all. Okay, so probably a good idea, check the location where you're saving to. If you haven't already done so, you might want to create a new project called Year 10 Lamp. I've got one here. I'll put mine in there, Year 10, Lamp Ideas. Give it a sensible file name. So I'm going to go Mr. Wilson, Lamp Base or something like that. Okay. And then let's get straight into it. And the reason you want to save it straight away is because then every few minutes you can just click Command S. It doesn't auto-save. It's not Google. So just be conscious of that. You don't want to lose your work. All right, so we begin with a sketch. So we're going to come up and click on Create a Sketch, and then we're going to choose our faces. And for this, I probably don't want to draw it in a plan view or top view, so I'm going to go with a front or a right. I'm going to click on this one here, okay, the right-hand side. All right, once that's open, my profile is basically a section through my material for the base. So I'm going to choose the rectangle tool up here, and I'm going to click and start to drag down. You let go of the button and you'll see it's obviously those dimensions are moving as you move your cursor around. The one that's highlighted blue is the one that you're typing into, so I want to make that 90 high, and then press Tab on your keyboard and 9 wide. Okay, the thickness of the material is 9 millimeters, and then we're going to go ahead and click Enter on that. Once we've done that, so this represents like the height of our pieces for the base and how thick they are. We then, if you remember, we had a slot at the top where our little base piece sits. So I'm going to just zoom in there ever so slightly. If you've got, you can either pinch, you can pinch and zoom on your trackpad, or obviously if you've got a mouse, kind of handy as well. And then I want to click a rectangle. I'm going to put it on, I'm going to start it somewhere on this right-hand line. And I'm going to click and start to drag out again. The dimensions here, the height should be 3, so I'm going to type in 3 and then Tab and 4.5, okay, and that shows the measurements of that little slot that's drawn on the top. So if you sort of zoom out a little bit and put your mouse on there, you can see it's highlighting all of this blue, but there's a bit missing there. Well, that piece that's missing is where your fiberboard would go. You can hide some of these things showing if you don't want to see all of that. If I untick, say, constraints over in this sketch palette, then it makes it a little bit easier to see. I can also untick the dimensions. That makes it a lot easier to see. Okay, but let's go ahead. I'll just leave those on for the moment. So the next thing is we're just going to set the distance from the top to where this slot starts. So to do that, we're going to use our dimension tool. So I'm going to press D for dimension on here, and you'll see when I put it on that top corner, it gives me a little point. So I can click there, and then I can click, it's giving me a point where that slot starts, and I'm going to drag that out, and you can, if I click once, you can see it's 19.354882 from the top. Well, it's only supposed to be 9, so I'm going to type 9, and when I press Enter, it's going to shift that up for me. So there you go. That is my profile drawn. So I'll turn my dimensions off at that point, and I'm going to go ahead and do a Command S and just click OK. You don't need to change the name. Just click OK. That is now saved. So if we look at that and what we've created, all we've actually created is a flat profile. And our piece of material for the base, we had 4 of them, of course, our piece of material has got a length to it. So I'm going to go ahead and press E for extrude, and then I'm going to pull that. And the length is 120, but before you press Enter or click OK, what you need to do is just come into this operation at the bottom of this extrude window, and we're going to change that from a new body into a new component, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. There's my component, and like a good well-organized person, I'm going to name that. So I'm going to call that base side, okay, and click on there. All right. Now, my base side, if you remember, had angles on the corner. That's how it joined together. So to create those, I'm going to come into Modify. I'm going to click this third one down that says chamfer, and the chamfer is an angle. You can see on the illustration it's giving you, it's going to put an angle onto an edge. If I select that short edge there, and that longer edge, and then the longer edge and the short edge, I've got 4 pieces. You can see there, 4 edges are selected. And then the distance is the same as the thickness, which was 9. So if I just type 9 in and click OK, you can see that what we've now got is angles on the ends of those pieces, which is, of course, how it all fits together. Okay, so I'm going to just choose my material for that, and then that is finished off. So I'm going to press A for appearance on my screen. And if you go through, you've got a scroll bar on the side here. Scroll down until you get to the woods, because there's all glass and plastic and all sorts of things. And then I think a good one for that, that looks quite like the bamboo. There is a bamboo on there, so you can put that on. You could drag that one on. That's perfectly good. Other one that looks quite like what you've done is the oak finish. So you want to choose one or the other. The oak's a little bit darker. Some of you had a slightly darker material. Some of you had a slightly lighter. So choose one of those, and then we can get rid of our appearance window, A for appearance. And then I'm just going to Command S, make sure that's saved, and then basically I'm done on that first bit. All right, well done.